Wasn't the Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah,
20 and
I think
40.
that's what I'd heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
I love that dude.
Me too.
And he was a larger than life figure in my childhood.
Truly,
and
me
when
too.
I was a kid, when he was the champ, it was like people don't understand what a champ he was. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't just the heavyweight champ of the world. He was an executioner. Like
Truly.
every fight was just a matter
I don't
of how
remember
long was it going to
which
last.
fight it was that I went to go see a couple of fights. And I actually went to go see Julio Cesar Chavez fight.
Ooh.
And that's when I met Tyson in the green room. And, and
wow.
I met at the same time Muhammad Ali in the green room.
Oh, wow.
That was a moment.
Wow.
As a boxing fan,
That's
that was
a
a
heavy
real
moment.
But I remember, and I don't know who it was, and I think it was a 90-second fight, and I went to go see this fight, and Tyson was fighting, and this guy was doing this stuff and he had he had built himself into confidence, and Mike came out afterwards. He was the first one, obviously, and Mike came out afterwards, and I watched his face. I didn't watch Mike. You would normally watch Mike because he's so charismatic, and he's coming, you want to see what he's going to do. And I watched the guy's face, and I watched that confidence bleed from his face instantaneously.
Yeah.
He had absolutely lost the fight long before Mike had ever gotten in the ring.
Yeah, I maintain that in the time where he was champion, like the 2 or 3 years where he was at his best, he's the greatest fighter of all time.
Of all time.
Of all time.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody...
That's why it was so interesting to me as I was watching it, and I'm very verbal when it comes to that shit. Come on! What the fuck? You know what I mean? And he's still quick.
Oh, yeah.
He's still quick.
He's still very quick.
And he would do
But, you know,
these
Mike
things.
had, he was walking with a cane just like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, but he was really out
He
of
had
shape.
bad sciatica.
Bad sciatica.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, real bad.
Oh.
You know, it wasn't that long ago that he was... You know, I mean, when I first met him, he was very, very heavy. He was not working out at all. And I asked him, how come you don't work out? He goes, I don't want to ignite my ego.
That's
He
what he
goes, I
said.
don't want to ignite the gods of war.
The gods of war. Yeah.
And then the second time he came in was when he was preparing for the Roy Jones Jr. fight.
Came in here?
Yeah, and he was a totally different human being. He was fucking jacked and in shape, and he looked super intense. And he was just like ready to go, and it was terrifying. It was like, and Jamie...
Wait, when was this?
A few years ago. 4 years ago? 4 years ago. And so when he came in the second time, I was like, Jamie said it afterwards. He's like, that's a totally different human being than the first time we saw him.
Yeah,
He was one of the first guys, like I said with Nick Nolte, he was like, is that really Nick Nolte? This is crazy.
Yeah.
Can't believe he's right there. Mike Tyson was one of the first people that I met, though. I can't believe he's really here. Because just like, he was
Bigger
so
than life.
iconic. Like, you had to be alive and be a kid during the time where he was the champion to understand what he was. Because there was... After Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, who was a great fighter, but no one liked him because he beat up Muhammad Ali. So people always just wanted him to
Yeah, but is that
lose.
the only reason? There's just a certain air of somebody, and they come along once in a great while.
Yes, but Larry Holmes never got his due.
Yeah.
He was an amazing fighter.
Amazing fighter, but still.
But when he retired, then there was just like a series of boring champions. Like no one cared about the heavyweight division at all.
Yeah.
No one cared.
Yeah.
And then
remember.
the cover of Sports Illustrated, I have it framed in my office at home. It said Kid Dynamite on it. And he was 19 years old. And I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then I started watching him fight. And then he was fight on like ABC Wide World of Sports. And you're like, Jesus Christ.
Do you find yourself going back and watching highlights just to do it?
Oh, yeah. I watch Tyson fights all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just watched this fight with Frank Bruno just a couple of days ago.
Frank Bruno.
Oh, my God. Tyson was something I just don't think you can maintain that. You can only do that for a few years.
The only fights that never worked out with, like, do you remember the fight with him and Bone Crusher Smith?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not a great fight.
No, wasn't the best fight.
Because Bone Crusher Smith was not a great fighter.
Well, he was a good fighter. He's just
but not a great fighter.
Tough guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, brutal knockout puncher. It just wasn't at Mike's level.
Yeah.
Mike was at a level that no one was at. It was an insane combination of discipline, talent, incredible coaching, psychology.
Yeah.
You know, when he was 13 years old, he was adopted by a guy.
No, I know.
Who was a hypnotist.
I know.
Cuss used to hypnotize him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he hypnotized him by the time he was 13. And he
Into being the greatest
into
fighter?
being the greatest fighter.
Wow.
And he told him, "You don't exist. Only the task exists." And the task was just
Did Mike tell you
destruction.
that?
Yeah.
I've never heard him say that.
Yeah.
Does he say that to other people?
Oh yeah, he said it publicly. He's
I've never
talked
said
about
it.
it. Yeah, he talked about
I mean,
the
I've never heard
hypnosis. The hypnosis. He started doing it when he was 13 years old.